Well, we've got some different scenery here for you today. We've chopped for 4 days, and now we're thinking we're gonna go till some corn. However, the next farm we have to chop is this one. There's one a few miles that way. I spent a lot of time this morning. It is after 1 o'clock now. I spent a lot of time this morning getting corn planters switched over with seed and reloading with seed and everything else. So now I've got it loaded, but I'm afraid this hay will chop now. But what we're gonna do is well, let's see, we're pulling in here. Andrew merged us last night. He was questioning himself whether he should or not. He said, we got a quarter of an inch of rain coming at 6 o'clock. Well, he was right. It stepped in on us about 6:30. And it's been overcast here all day. You can see it's kind of crispy on top. I'm afraid it's going to be ready to chop. But I'm going to get this, this ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to run this corn planter on over, get it parked up, and then come back and chop here at 3 o'clock. So, better message the boys, tell them what's going on here. So, we'll get on her. Thought we were going to be able to no-till some corn, but that doesn't look like it. So, we will, join up in a little while from the chopper seat. I thought we were going to be no-tilling some corn, but that don't look that away. So, we'll get on it here. Well, we're getting a little no-till corn planting action in here. We took this hay off 4 or 5 days ago. And we're planting corn right into it. We seeded this down in 2019. Real nice hay over here. We figured we would at least get first cotton taken off of it, and then no-till corn right into it. So that's what we're doing. We've got 2 other pieces rather, that we're gonna do this same thing to. They're manure in one, and the other one will probably no-till as well. I don't think we'll end up discing that other one. Conditions are perfect. And the no-till action is working really well. We'll get out here in a minute and kind of walk around a little bit. Kind of show you how the trench is opening up and how it's closing up again. And it is going in the ground nicely. The ground is just right for no-till. We have had in the past where the ground's been too wet, and what happens is the trench closes, the seed opener discs cut right into the ground good, but the ground, when it closes that trench up, and then when the ground dries out a little bit, it opens all back up. So you've got to have conditions to be perfect, and they are here right now. You don't want it too dry because you obviously want to be able to penetrate the ground as well, and it is penetrating nicely. So we'll get out up here, we'll kind of show you what things look like, and then I'm going to need fertilizer here in a little bit, and we'll just keep on keeping on here. So we'll show you what things look like. Everything is going in the ground very nicely. Got a row there, so on. And the main thing is we don't want to see any corn on top of the ground. The trench is closing nicely, nice and soft. A little granular piece of fertilizer right there. But the trench is closing up nicely and we should have a good crop here. Alright, so we have jumped seats and we are now chopping new seat. We seeded this down in August of last year, so this is the first that we have harvested alfalfa off of this particular ground here since it was wheat here last year. We've got Alex just about loaded. Davy's on deck, and Sarah will be in behind Davy. This is running at about 60% moisture, and it was cut here yesterday morning. The ground is real dry. We didn't get any kind of a dew. We didn't have a dew here at all this morning. And it's a good thing we're getting it chopped right now, because if we weren't chopping it now, it'd be getting too dry. So she's loaded. She is in love with that truck. Trailer combination there. But yeah, that's been working out really well, that truck has. And then we got Davy coming in with the truck 9. Moisture, 22% protein, and it's running right around 4 tons to the acre. Right there. Good stuff. This is a herbicide resistant alfalfa. We do have some volunteer wheat growing. This had herbicide applied to it last fall. However, there must have been some wheat that didn't quite germinate prior to it being sprayed. But it won't have anything growing in it for the next cutting. That wheat is done. and it is real clean. We did have to do some touch-up seeding here in this field in the springtime. But other than that, we didn't have to do too much overall. We didn't have much winter kill this year compared to past years. So Sarah, she's just pulling in. She's running truck 18 today. And truck 18 and this truck here are, well, they're identical trucks. They're consecutive serial number trucks. This is 69, and that one is 70. And there's one other number halfway through the series of numbers on the serial number that they change when it comes time to run consecutive serial numbers. Like an X is switched with a Y or something, if I remember right. But we'll get Davey loaded and we'll start loading Sarah. Both of these trucks have 22-foot boxes on them with 7-foot sides. This truck here had a 22-foot box with 6-foot sides. Didn't hold quite as much. Box was shot, and we built a new one for it here last year. So I gotta have both hands here in order to run this chopper, so we're gonna put you guys down. So we got Sarah just about loaded. This truck here, we built the box for this back in 2017. So this box is 7 years old, and the paint didn't take too well to it. And we wanted to repaint that this winter, but we never got around to it. So she's just about loaded, and my father's on deck with the white Freightliner that Alex used to drive, but Alex is now moved on to the tractor trailer, and she doesn't want to part with it. I got my father pulling up here with the white Freightliner that has this has got a 25-foot box on it with 7-foot sides. The other one has a 25-foot box with 6-foot sides. The only advantage with the 6-foot sides is we can get over it a little easier with the grain buggy. Someday maybe we'll have a bigger grain buggy. But this field here, we had to do a little reseeding this spring. This end was awful. We reseeded this whole headland, one side of the field to the other here, and you can see it's starting to take off there. So by second cut time, it should be in good shape. So we're gonna keep plugging away here. We've got just a pile of short rounds left to do in this field, and we'll move on to the next ones. I've got in that one cornfield, I've got about 15 acres left to plant. I got low on seed. I was running out of time. I don't know if I talked about it at all. I got over to the field there this morning at 3:15. I didn't have to feed cows this morning. I wanted to get that completely planted. Well, we have a 4640 display. This is a G5. I went to put that 4640 display in the chopper so I could leave this G5 display in that tractor. And we had some glitches with it. When Jared was planting corn, it would take forever for it to boot up. We dumped all the information out of it, reset it, did all that stuff, and we still had some minor glitches with it. Well, when you set these displays in these pieces of equipment that have an armrest control unit in it, or an armrest display, it wants to run the information, or it wants to ask you where it's going to run the information from. So generally you tell it that you want to do harvest and auto steer and all that stuff from the secondary display you're installing. So once you tell it that, you have to shut the system down and restart. When I had that 4640 in this chopper the other day, it took so long for it to restart that it started over again. So once it booted up, it said, oh, you need to shut the machine down, restart again. Well, after I did that a couple of times, I got sick of monkeying around with that. So when I took the corn planter over to the field the other day, I put that display in that tractor, which I tried it in the chopper and then threw it in the office, didn't put it back in the 8220. It took a little while for it to boot up, but it booted up. I put my information in the display as far as what hybrid we were planting, what fertilizer we were using, all that stuff. Well, this morning when I went to start up, that thing just did not want to come to life. I sat with it for an hour. I finally gave up, drove the 18 miles back home, grabbed this G5 display out of this chopper, and went back over. The reason why I didn't take the G5 originally with me is sometimes it's a pain in the butt to reboot. It's not really that much of a pain, but I just figured that I would get that planted, I would be running out of time, and I would just jump seats, fire this up, and go. I changed the sharpening stone on this last night. I figured I would sharpen the knives while I filled with fuel this morning, and I was delayed. I had Jared fill this with fuel, and then when I got back there, I sharpened the knives, filled with inoculant. I was about a half hour later than I wanted to be. So we've got 5 windrows left in this field, and we'll be out of here. So we'll touch base with you guys a little later on here. Come on in, driver. We got a little bit of a tight driveway here. Tractor trailer. But she'll get her. Alright, so we've got Alex loaded. Now we're loading Davey. This hay isn't the greatest. This is about to run out here. So we've got front row seats if she puts this in the ditch. So we'll watch her pull up on out of there. Looks like she might be spinning a little bit. She might have to hit that with a running start. She's having a little trouble. She'll reset and have to approach that. I gotta get on the phone. My frickin' two-way radio ain't working. two-way radio ain't working. She ain't answering the phone. Looks like she's gonna get it this time. And she's got it. She pulled up that first time, and stopped to check for cars, and then the truck wouldn't go. So she locked the differential, and then when she locked it in, she couldn't turn once the truck got up on the pavement. She got it that time, and my two-way radio isn't working. I don't have power to the power strip that's plugged into. So that's good. We could have used it. Oh well. Well, we didn't get to see the trailer flop over in the ditch. Not today, anyways. Alright. Well, we are now into the next day. We got that one field done here a while ago. It looked like rain here overnight, which we didn't get nothing. We ended up catching the hay vine. You can see all this traffic. I've already unfolded the planter. I pulled off the main road there, and you can see all that traffic lined up. Well, that traffic was all in behind me. So we had that backed up a little ways. I really didn't have any place to pull off the road. And yeah, it's backed up a little while. So them guys can't even get off that back road over there because the traffic is that heavy. So that gray car was the last car in line there. So there's about 35 acres here to do. We'll get on it. All we got was just a minor rain showers here this morning, and it wasn't even enough to wet the pavement. So we're gonna give the hay a little time to wilt down. What was cut only about 12 hours ago, 15 hours ago. So this will keep us busy for a while. Well, as you can see, we have jumped seats again. I got that second piece all no-till. There was 39 acres in that field, 68 acres in the one before it. My brother's over at that farm, the field that we did first, and it's sprinkling over there. So he is to the furthest point to the north of us, and we are now the furthest point to the east of our farm. So with us being that far apart from each other, hopefully he keeps the rain over there and doesn't send us any over this way. He thought if we got chopping and if we were able to keep going, he would come back from there and get in cutting again. We've got about 200 acres down, and there's not quite 300 left to go over on this side of town. So this is where we're going to sign off with this video. As far as no-till goes, that was the last piece that we had to do with the no-till corn for this year. We'll have to see how it goes throughout the year. It should grow good. However, I didn't like some of the corners on the headlands. I noticed my first time around that it wasn't closing the trench that great. So my second time around, which I don't do much turning on my second time, but after that I boxed out the corners and kept everything going straight. Closed the trench up real good there. So with that being said, that is gonna do it for this one. We might only get a little bit of chopping in, but they said it was going to be raining here last night. It didn't rain, and they said this morning it was going to be raining. Didn't rain. we cleaned up all the hay that was down, that we had cut from the day before, and then this hay that we're going into now was cut here yesterday afternoon. So it's gonna be on the green side a little bit. There hadn't been a lot of sun working on it, but it is what it is. So we'll clean up as much of it as we can before it gets a raining. So we will catch you at the next one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll get on with it here. Mike's got some nice windrows for us by the looks of it.